Welcome everyone to our second cheese chat with Harvey Cheese. We've got Peter and Kale, who Anne suggested to me is not pronounced Kale, but Kale told me it is pronounced Kale. So we're going to pronounce your name Kale. I'd like to introduce you to Adele Wessell, who is Associate Professor of History at Southern Cross Uni. And you'll also know Kerry. Kerry is the other half of Cheese Therapy.
And Nimbin Valley Dairy.
And Nimbin Valley Dairy.
Oops.
And we also have Anne. Anne Briggs is our beautiful assistant who's sitting in the background making sure everyone's mics are unmuted.
Doing nothing. I'm doing nothing.
You're doing nothing. Okay, so we are here to talk about the OMG triple cream that's made by Harvey Cheese. So can we start with you, Peter, maybe? Just tell us a little bit about your story and how did Harvey Cheese go from an idea into a business that's winning awards in WA and throughout the country?
So Harvey Cheese has been making cheese here since 2001. So sort of in our 24th year of cheese making. And we as a family took over here in October 23. So the previous owners, Robert and Penny Duke, started this factory back in the day. Very, very small scale. It was a very rundown farm that they took over here. But it was sort of at the beginning of, I would guess, WA's declining dairy industry. So they really, being in the heart of Harvey, managed to secure a very nice supply of milk. It's some of the best milk, I'm being told, in the world. The Harvey irrigation scheme is really special. So yeah, we are lucky that we are surrounded by some of the world's best farmers, and basically all that we are trying to do with the cheese making is not stuff it up. Start with a beautiful product. For us as a family, I'm a geologist by background.
Wow.
But after university, I went to Switzerland to make cheese for a year, and sort of always wanting to be close to dairy and the cheese making scene. And a few years ago, business came up for sale, and we took over as a family. So it's Kayla and myself are in the business, and my cousin is a business partner. My parents are here with us as well. So it's a whole family affair. We're just trying to keep the legacy going.
Yeah. So I'm actually amazed. I didn't realise, firstly, that Harvey Cheese had been around so long, and I'm very impressed that you went from geology to cheese making.
Oh my lord! Oh, red flags there, Peter.
It's all about the terroir. Right?
Can I just interrupt there for a minute about the history? Is Harvey an area or the name of the original farm, the farm name?
It is a shire and a town in Western Australia.
Yeah, right.
So the town of Harvey is the capital of the Shire of Harvey, and we're sort of halfway between Perth and Margaret River. So it's sort of the heart of the WA dairy dairy land.
So your factory isn't on the original Harvey milk farm, is that right? Is your factory on the farm?
No. So we are on 26 acres. So long ago it was a big dairy farm, but it's sort of been subdivided and with bits and pieces.
Harvey.
I remember visiting it about 20 years ago in another occupation. I remember visiting Harvey Milk. They'd just gone into milk production. But anyway, we digress.
Harvey is the name, though, of the river, isn't it? I mean, I'm kind of interested because there's not a lot. We don't know a lot about dairy in Western Australia, but it's all concentrated. It's all concentrated in the southwest. Is that right? Where you are, that area?
Yeah, we sort of so if you think about the dairy region in WA, we would sort of be on the northern part of the southwest, But because we have the Harvey Dam, which is a really good irrigation scheme, so all of the irrigated farmlands are around this area. So it's very good for throughout the year production, and it's a very mild climate. So a little microclimate that's here. So it doesn't get quite as hot or quite as cold here than anywhere else in the state. So yeah, perfect for the cows.
Oh, cool. So it's right. So there's a Harvey Dam as well.
So what does the country look like around there, Peter? Is it? I've been to Perth for the Mole Cheese festivals a couple of times. Is it that low sclerophyll Perth type country, or is it more like the greener country down around Denmark and those areas down further south?
So there's like the main escarpment or the ridge line that runs towards the east side of the town, and then from there it drops off and it's flatlands, pretty much to the coast. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of grain land as well. So
yeah. It's Paul Wilson, the dairy farmer, coming out asking those questions. Okay, well let's can we hear a bit about your story, Kale, whose name is spelled Kael, not Kale.
It's not a vegetable.
Yeah.
Kale's very popular in Nimbin.
What's your story, Kale? How did you get involved in cheese making? What's your interest in cheese making?
So my story is almost worse than my dad's.
Oh, no.
So I was in high school. Yeah, so I graduated high school in 2023.
Oh.
Yeah, not that long ago. I was going to be a boiler maker, going up to the mines. And then my old boy, he came forward with this idea for this factory down here. And he said, "Do you want to come join and learn how to make cheese?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So here I am. I would have never guessed 3 years ago, but it's just one of those things.
Oh, look at the proud look on your face, Peter.
Very proud.
You're living the dream of all those city people in their 30s in Sydney and Melbourne and Perth and whatever that are dream of getting out and doing something for themselves. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
very grateful.
It's not always the
Awesome.
case, though, is it, that children want to necessarily follow their families into agriculture? So,
No, well, it's interesting because I have two sons involved in our business, and I'm sure they don't smile like Kale.
It's just for the cameras.
But they've been working for me longer, though, Peter. You're not going hard enough.
Well,
I'm trying.
you
But it's there's the proud smile. But one of the things I think that's a bit different here in Western Australia than in the rest of the country or New Zealand is our dairy industry here is in big trouble. So the rate at which farmers are retiring is really concerning, and there's no new entrants to the market. So Kale is actually he works a second job. He milks with the farmer where we get our milk as well. So Kale is training up to be a dairy farmer as well.
Oh, good.
And there just isn't that many young men or young kids that is coming to the industry. So I couldn't be prouder.
So is there enough does WA produce enough fresh milk to supply the state? Or do you import milk from
So we don't import fresh milk. It's too far.
Yeah.
So we can't so we barely satisfy the white milk demand.
Yeah.
And we import almost all of our
UHT.
cheese and yogurts and dairy derivatives.
And UHT. And long life.
Yeah, so even if WA turns the last drop of white milk that it produces into cheese, we would still be importing cheese into WA.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about cheese. Let's get back into this IMG of yours. I've got my little piece here. So can you tell us a little bit about your oh, Adele's got hers. And where's your OMG, Anne? While we're talking
I've
about
eaten it. Paul knows this. I've already eaten it. Sorry, but I enjoyed it.
Oh dear.
so what makes it special? You've won some awards for it. Tell us all about this this cheese of yours, OMG.
Yeah, so it's, well, first of all, we have the, what is interesting, the previous owner, so Robert St. Luke was a very colorful man, and he collected a lot of trademarks in his journey. So we actually have the trademark for the letters OMG in Australia.
Wow.
We've come yeah, I think if we play it right, the trademark is probably worth more than the business. But and yeah, and so the triple cream, I mean that this is the flagship cheese for us. So trying to get that right milk to cream ratio, where it's sort of the cream of three milkings to the one milking's milk, a very traditional triple cream. And because we don't, the way we pasteurize the milk here, it's a very, where we try to be as gentle as possible, and with the milk quality that it is, it's just a sensational creamy buttery cheese. Very labor intensive, so this would be the cheese that keeps Kale and Jason up at night, in terms of it wants to develop its own way at every turn. But yeah, so it's basically a white malt cheese, very creamy, and we yeah, everything is super hand intensive. Even the wrapping, the girls that does the wrapping here is really proud on the quality of their wrapping. So from the moment that we pick up the milk to it getting delivered is yeah, it's a very intense and jealous cheese to make.
That's interesting. Now, Kale, can you, for the average listener who, don't forget, is probably sitting in a city somewhere watching telly and listening to this at the same time, what can you tell them actually the process of making this cheese in 30 seconds or less?
So it's very similar to most of our cheeses that we make in terms of the process involved. So obviously have a recipe plan that we follow, pasteurizing the milk. So because it is a soft white with extra cream, it is at a higher temperature at the filling of the tubs. So we make it in individual 40-litre tubs, depending on the amount required. And then, yeah, it's just waiting for the acidification times, rennet times, pH, all sorts, as well as cutting and paddling to drain all the moisture out, especially the cream added. It can tend to be quite soft the next day after spending the night in the warm room. So it's really just keeping an eye on all of that. It's quite similar to all of the cheeses we make, just with different cultures and grinding times.
Okay, and once you've made it, so you make it, how long does it take to actually make the cheese itself, from when you get it from the dairy factory, from the dairy rather, to when it's
from dairy? So the milk we use is less than 20 minutes old. So I finish the milking, pick up the milk, come here and start making cheese. Have a shower, obviously. For this one, for the actual process from milk into molds and the turning into the warm room, it takes about six hours.
Yeah, right. Okay,
So
a full day.
Yeah.
And then, how long does it take to get it from that stage to when you wrap it and send it out?
So we have a short code and a best before. Typically, best before around.
But from the warm room to wrapping is we age and turn it for 2 weeks, and then it gets cut and wrapped. So what you guys have is the half one, so that's the cut cheese. But we also have the full one. So yeah, that's 2 weeks, and then what Kyle is referring to, then we've got another 5 weeks on it before it's sort of it's at its peak ripeness
Yeah.
on average.
So it's about 6 weeks from start to finish.
Yeah,
Okay.
7 weeks I think is the official date we have on it.
Yeah. Okay. Adele, you were asking a question before about the dairy industry in WA. Did you finish that question about dairy farmers and their children taking over?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was also because Peter was talking about when you bought the farm, it was kind of you felt that it was the dairy industry itself was in some crisis, and then I think you explained that about succession and so on, and a lot of that I guess is also about cheese making being industrialized, and those early dairy farms in Western Australia were really small, concentrated in that area. People made their own cheese, made their own butter, and so on.
When are
So
we talking here, Adele? When was that?
that sort of changed. Well, there was actually a royal commission into cheese making in Western Australia, in the 1930s.
Oh,
And
wow.
what they decided is that they needed more immigration, better transport, especially trains. I mean, it was a particular problem. I mean, in lots of ways, what you were saying before, um, because of the travel situation, they had to produce enough cheese and butter and milk and so on for the state or the colony, Swan colony, a bit earlier than that. And so, but it even though the government kind of put in subsidies and helped to sort of start some of those early cheese factories and so on, it always sort of seemed to be a bit of a problem, kind of really taking off as a dairy producing area. So what you're doing is really small. You said that it was really intensive and so on. What do you think is the future now of kind of artisan cheese or small batch cheese making in Western Australia?
I think the future is very, very bright. So certainly WA as a market is very parochial. So they are very supportive of local producers. It's a rich state, so people can afford to spend a little bit more on quality produce. And I think one of the things that the state has really learned from COVID is there's value in keeping the smaller industries going to have a vibrant state. We see it in the artisanal cheese making, but there's a whole resurgence in small food manufacturing, so chutneys and jams and pickles of sorts. So specifically down south to Margaret River, it's got a world-class name, Margaret River, as a foodie destination. So yeah, I think we will run out of raw produce, so milk to make cheese before we run into any trouble where there's too much competition in the state. There's only so much milk to go around. And yeah, and it's declining at a very alarming rate. We don't. I spoke at the Malt Festival to some people who's sort of into the Victorian market, and Victoria and New Zealand in particular just don't have that problem because there's more people. There's more of a pipeline of people and share farming that can keep the industry going. Whereas in Western Australia, everyone disappears into mining. No one
Yeah.
no one wants to get into farming. So yeah, it's really concerning, and it's sad. You see how towns that was once really vibrant is just dying because it's everything tends to these large scale industrial factory farms more than a proper landscape of small vibrant farming.
Because I noticed that you say on the cheese, buy West, eat best. Like, is that mostly directed towards Western Australian eaters, or should all of us know about Western Australian cheese? Is there something particular about that cheese that? we should be eating?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I would say yes, it's the most special cheese in the world. But the Harvey irrigation scheme is really special. So I don't know if it's 100% true, but it's the story that goes around here is that it is the cheapest, sweetest irrigation water that you can find anywhere in Australia. And the microclimate here does have a little bit of a feel, like how Gruyere or Emmental is special in its own right. Harvey is a little bit special like that as well. So yeah, just the fact that we've got the climate and the irrigation and really good soils makes for a really, really good base product. You can even see in the state as you go further south, the nature of the milk changes. And that is why you've got Browns and Harvey Fresh and even Coles operations are all centered around this area. So yeah, and when you work with beautiful raw produce like that, and you, as a cheesemaker, you manage to stay out of the way, you can really allow the milk to shine through in all of the cheese that we are making.
Yeah, Peter and Kale, if someone's new to your cheese, they've never tried it before, how should they enjoy it? What's the best way for them to enjoy your cheese?
Personally, I don't eat it with anything else. If I'm trying batches, I just eat it straight. Get to know it a bit. And that's really, if you really want to reciprocate the taste and the full body aroma of it, it's just neat. So
yeah.
So I mean, broad question. So we've got on our wholesale price list, we've got 33 product lines. So we make an insane amount of different styles of cheese. But for the OMG in particular, it is. I've not had it on a platter where it wasn't the star of the platter. It's a very decadent cheese. Yeah, again, we say you should to pair it with something nice and crisp, like a nice dry champagne or a dry white. Personally, I like it with black beer, like any dark lagers or porter. It's really good. Or like recently with our own gin. So one thing that is unique about us, and the OMG plays a big part in this, we recycle all of the whey of the cheese making, and then turn that into a range of gins as well. And so yeah, so obviously here at the Cellar Door, we promote cheese and gin pairings a fair bit.
Yeah, okay. What's that? What's the pink color in that gin? Where does that come from?
So that is Sangino, so it's Sangiovese grapes. So this is a Sangiovese infused gin.
Yeah, okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's a
And
little bit.
you drink it straight, or you have it with tonic, or
I don't like strong spritz, so I drink it with tonic. But it's beautiful with soda as well, and people who can stomach things on the ice. So yeah, very nice and smooth.
yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I want to try that. I
So
went
do I.
with
Well, so
sparkling
do I.
rosé, so mine's red also, but
Can you bring a bottle to Mould and we'll buy it from you at Perth?
Right, just order it online.
You've now got everyone
There you
around the
go.
country.
I can do that. I will. I'll go shopping.
Everyone around the country is now going, damn, I'm in cheese and I don't have the gin.
Are you guys coming to Perth?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be over there.
You could definitely try it there. Yeah.
Okay, so we're running out of time. So, lastly, apart from OMG, which we've decided is the hero of any cheese board, and what is your favourite cheese, Peter?
So I like nice punchy cheeses. So like aged Gruyere or aged cheddars is probably my go-to style. we make a 2-year-old Romano here that is really really delicious.
Okay.
Yeah. So that I sort of tend towards those styles of cheeses.
And Kale, what about you?
My favorite, it's also my favorite to make, is our St. Duke's Blue. It's quite technical within the cheese making side. You lose a bit of sleep over it, so that's probably why it's my favorite. But yeah, just I was never a fan of blue cheese.
Yep.
I only like this one, so.
Yep. And lastly, Kale, what this is going to put you on the spot, but or maybe put your dad on the spot when I ask you the question. But what brings you joy in cheese making? Why do you make cheese? Why aren't you doing the FIFO thing like every other guy your age in WA?
Or a boilermaker?
Oh,
Yeah.
For the actual cheese making aspect of it, I like how many different aspects there are to it, and it's every batch is always going to be different, and just trying to keep track of what you've done and what you've made in the past, and how that has turned out to be, and what you can do on the current day of making to alter that to make it a little bit better. It's just so many. It's a never-ending perfection, really. But also it's just the location as well. So I love living in Harvey. So
Good.
it's a great little town. So I'll stick around here for a bit longer. So
I'm sure your dad's relieved to hear that. So, Peter, what brings you the joy in the business? And do you make cheese yourself, or you?
No, not really. I jump in and help. So we've got Kale and Jason is actually he's our distiller, and he's also helping in the cheese factory. So I let the artisans do their thing. I think for me, I've not what was surprising about the business is what a important spoke in the wheel of the entire dairy industry this is. The fact that there's small businesses like us that exist, and there's about 3 of us in the state. We allow, it's a pressure release valve for the farmers that gives them a little bit of negotiating power, and they deal with the big processes like Harvey Fresh or Bega. What we find is those big guys really screw the farmers, in every way that they can. And not necessarily in a bad way, but it's all about corporate profits.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it is more about, profit is a aspect of what we do, but it's the health of the community, the industry. Having a beautiful place to be in as a family is even more important. And between us as a collective artisanal group, we do take enough volume of milk that it gives the farmers a little bit of bargaining power when they deal with the big corporates. And so fighting that game, I'm from a corporate background, so I like playing a role where I hope I can leave here with having contributed to the health of the industry just as much as having produced beautiful cheese.
Yeah, great. That's great to hear. So, well, we've run out of time.